So, come back down onto your backs. I hope you enjoyed that time on your backs. We will grab our straps. Start off with the strap wrapping around the ball mount of your right foot. And your left foot is on the floor. The heel, the right heel, reaches up towards the ceiling. The weight of the right foot drops down into the hip joint. And we're just going to sort of settle in for a few breaths here. I kind of like the count of 3 when I do this. Just a nice steady rhythm. You know, you're not rushing through one. So it's full breath in and a full breath out. Another breath in and another breath out. And then that third inhale in and inhale out. And then taking your left hand, place your left hand right on your left hip bone. You've got the strap holding the right foot up towards the ceiling. Take your right leg out to the side. And just let it float. I've got the wall there, but I'm not trying to take my foot down to the floor. I'd actually like you to take the strap and hug the right heel back into your hip joint. Feel the muscles in the right leg engaged. Feel the left hip anchoring you down. And again, 3 full breaths in this direction. And then inhale the right leg up. Take the left foot up into the strap. Release your right foot down to the floor. And we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So the right hand will anchor the right hip to the floor. You'll take the left leg out to the side. And again, we're not trying to get the left foot to come down to the floor. I'd like you just to really engage the muscles of the left leg, like you're wrapping the skin around the muscles. And then you're taking the muscles and you're wrapping the bone, keeping the joints, the knee, nice and soft. You just want to breathe in that 3 rounds of breath. Maybe you feel yourself settling in and able to drop the left leg a little lower, but that's not our goal. And we'll bring the left leg back up. And we'll take the right foot up into the strap again. Anchor that left hip to the floor. Take the right leg out to the side. And settle into the rhythm of your breath. And then inhale. Reach the right leg up towards the ceiling. Take the strap into the left hand. Take your right hand out to the side. And then drop your right leg over your left. Hug that right heel back into your hip joint. Maybe you even want to look over towards your right hand. You'll get a little stretch in the neck. And then inhale and come back up with the right leg. And we'll do the same thing with the left leg. So you'll take the strap up into take the foot up into the strap. Let the weight of the leg drop down into the hip joint, so we want the leg to be engaged. And then using the strength of your leg, not so much the strap, go ahead and let the left leg float out to the side. Taking a breath in, hugging the left toes in. And then we'll inhale and come back up. Reach for the strap with your right hand. Cross the hip so it comes over the left. I hope you don't have a wall in your way. You may be able to find a little more space than I am. And again, 3 full rounds of breath. Just noticing what you're noticing. Maybe looking over to your left hand feels good. And then we'll take the left leg back up. Reach for the strap. Take both feet up into the strap. Melt your shoulders down towards the floor so you feel like your shoulders are anchored down into the floor. And this is just going to be sort of fun. You'll take a breath in. You'll push your feet up against the strap. Engage the strength of the core. And you'll come up. to you. Now, I'd like you to sit up on something. So you may want to sit up on your blocks. You may want to sit up on a blanket. But sit up for me, okay? Come on up into an easy sitting pose. We call that Sukhasana in yoga. I like to throw out the Sanskrit, not because I think anybody necessarily needs to know it, but I like to recognize that yoga has been around for a really long time, and it's served many people across the world, and it's a beautiful practice, and I think it's nice to acknowledge the history of it. Now I'm sitting here in Sukhasana, or easy sitting pose, and I have a more familiar way. I love to cross my right ankle in front of my left, but just to mix it up, I'm going to place my left ankle in front of my right. Now, if this feels like your knees are way up here, which is not uncommon, grab some additional support to sit up a little bit higher. By sitting at a height that the knees can drop lower than the hips, you'll support your low back. You'll strengthen your low back by hugging your belly in. If you're too low and your knees are popping up, you tend to round into the low back, and that doesn't typically feel very good for most of us. So take a breath here and just feel yourself rooting down. Walk your fingertips out to the side, turn the palms up, reach the arms up and overhead, and then softening your shoulders. Exhale and release your fingertips back down to the floor. On the in-breath, float the arms up and overhead. Keep your shoulders soft, but keep lifting up from the hip bones through your fingertips. Exhale, release. And we'll do that a third time. Reaching the arms up and overhead, finding that space through the waistline. Go ahead and decide which one is your right hand. You're at home, so nobody's going to know if you've got the wrong side. But take your right hand to the opposite knee. Take your left hand back behind you. So when you take your hand behind you, you don't want to dump your weight into the left hand. We actually want the left hand to just help us find some balance. So inhale the spine long, and then keep your gaze gently looking down the length of the nose, and slide your chin back so you feel your head resting at the top of the spine. From there, start to twist to your left, and take 3 full rounds of breath. Each time you inhale, you can feel your spine get longer. Each time you exhale, you can deepen into the space of your twist. And then we'll come back, reach the arms up, get nice and long. And again, twisting from the belly, place your left hand on your right knee. Take a breath, let your head line up at the top of the spine. The right hand is there, helping you find balance, but you're not dumping. If you feel like you can't reach your hand to the floor, again, you've got props. Don't be afraid to use them. Inhale long on the, or lengthen on the inhale, and deepen into the exhale. Just noticing the rhythm of your breath, guiding you, helping you find a little more comfort in the shape. And we'll come back to center, float the arms up and overhead, and exhale, release your hands to the floor. Using the strap again, take the strap and bring it out in front of you. Look at your hands and think of your hands as electrical plugs. Plug the shoulders, plug the arms into the shoulders, just like we did with the legs a minute ago. Same idea. Take a breath here. Now take the strap a little bit wider. Float the arms up and overhead. Melt the shoulders, but stay tall. And then go ahead and lean to your right. And you'll feel lots of space along the left side of the body. And then inhale and come back to center. Lean to your left. Keep the shoulders soft. Keep the breath steady. Inhale and come back to center. 2 more rounds in each direction. Just breathing and noticing what you're feeling. Can you find comfort in the breath? I'm finding comfort in the fact that Patrick is in the basement with me, helping me do this. It's nice when we feel like we have connections to people, even if it's not in our traditional way, right? Well, inhale and come back to center. Good. Now, take a breath, push down into your thighs, let your spine get really long, and we'll reach the strap up again, and we'll do a little something to release the neck. So I may move around on the mat, but you're gonna stay facing forward. So what I'd like you to do is take your strap and take it to the back of your skull and see if you can find that ridge at the base of the skull, the occipital ridge, if you're curious. We'll start to lift the strap and push the head back into the strap. And I'm hoping what you find here is some space in the back of the neck. Again, the chin is parallel to the floor, and you're just breathing in and breathing out, letting the shape create the space. Good. I hope you're doing well. Release the strap off to the side. We'll move into a small little sequence because it is a slow flow. But when I offer you the sequence, remember that each time we transition into the next pose, if you feel like stopping or hanging out longer in the pose we did before, then that's all you're going to do. Don't feel like you have to move every way I do. All right? I want you to enjoy your practice. So again, keep facing forward. We'll come into child's pose. Now, oftentimes when we're in the studio, if I'm teaching a class and I say child's pose, everybody gets really excited because child's pose is a classic resting pose. But for some people, what I'm doing right now with my knees is not so great. They don't love it. If it's better for you to take a blanket and bring the blanket right behind your knees, then it's better for you to do it that way. And I would love for you to do it that way. I can't see you. No one can see you. So do what feels good. All right, so child's pose, we come down and we let our head relax on the floor. Now, if you can't get your head down to the floor, again, you've got props. Rest your head on the block. If you feel like you don't need any of the props and you don't want to use a blanket under your knees, don't. All right? Do what feels comfortable for you. And we're just breathing here, steadying the breath, softening the gaze. And we'll move to the next pose, puppy dog pose. So now I've got the knees right underneath the hips. We've got the hands out in front. Their hands are a little bit broader than the shoulders. And we'll bring our forehead down to something. So if the floor is too far away from you, then you'll grab a block. Otherwise, rest your forehead on the floor. And then just to add a little shoulder engagement, come on to the tips of your fingers. Let yourself breathe in and breathe out. And begin to feel some strength in your shoulder, some strength in your core. As you push into the tips of your fingers, push back into your hips. Just breathing. And we'll walk the hands back and come back with the knees wide, the toes together, child's pose once more. Feel the weight of your hips dropping back towards your heels. Feel the length of your spine. And breathe in. And remember, we can't take in any more than we're willing to let go. So breathe out at the same level of intensity. Nice and steady. And we're flowing. We'll come back into puppy dog. The knees come together. And again, you can pad your knees if they feel like it's too hard on the floor. The knees come together, the hands come a little broader than the shoulders. You're up on your fingertips, and you're just feeling what you're feeling right now. Right? Tuning in to what you're noticing. Breathing in and breathing out. If we just breathe for an hour, we'll feel more comfortable. All right, one more round of child's pose. Taking your time, making your way into that shape. And then make your way into puppy dog pose. Knees come right underneath the hips. Hands come out in front of you. And feel the rhythm of your breath connecting. And breathe into that space. Take a full breath in. Let it go. Walk your hands back. And let's come into a standing pose together. Alright, so once you come up into a standing pose, I'd like you to look down at your feet. They should be about 2 fist difference between them. So you can bend your knees a lot to see if that's what's actually happening. And you've got your feet about hip distance apart. Go ahead and pull your shoulders back so that they come over your hip bones. And feel your head come back. Again, take it back on the chin. You don't want to lift it up or pull it down, right? You just want the head to rest comfortably at the top of the spine. Go ahead and bend your knees a lot. And then lock your knees. And then see if you can find the place where you're not bending the knees and you're not locking the knees. And once you're there, feel your shoulders come onto your back. Take a breath, turn your palms up, reach your arms up and overhead. And exhale, release your hands back down. Take another breath, reach the arms up and overhead. And exhale, release your hands back down. One more breath, we'll reach the arms up and overhead. And then exhale and place your hands at the tops of the thighs. Bring your chest forward, bring your head forward. Keep your knees soft. Extending the head from the tailbone. Breathe in and breathe out. And push down into your feet. Inhale, reach your arms straight up and overhead. Feel that space from your hips to your fingertips. Exhale, take your hands to the tops of your thighs. Inhale the spine long. Let your head extend from your tailbone. So try not to look straight up. Try not to drop your head. Just reach through the top of the head. Push down into your feet. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, take your hands to the tops of the thighs. 3rd time's the charm. Enjoy the space of your half forward fold. We're not trying to touch the floor here. We're trying to extend the spine while protecting the hamstrings and the low back. Push down into your feet. Inhale and rise up. Reach your arms up and overhead. Soften the shoulders. Exhale the hands to the center of your heart. Go ahead and reach for your strap once more. Feet are hip distance apart. Take the hands forward. And then float the arms up and overhead, keeping the knees soft, keeping your breath steady. Take a full breath in. Go ahead and lean to your right. Stretch along the left side of your body. Inhale, come back to center. Lean over to your left. Stretch along the right side of your body. Inhale, come back to center. Take the strap wider and find that ridge at the base of the skull once more. Take a breath and start to lift and lengthen through the back of the neck. And just enjoy that space. Full breath in, full breath out. Trying to stay soft with your gaze, soft with your breath. Great. All right, let's put the strap to the side. I'd like you to come into a low lunge. So you're standing at the top of the mat. Again, I'm turned sideways so that you can see what I'm doing. With the blocks at the front of your mat, step your left foot as far back as you can take it, right? Your right knee will come right over the right ankle, and then you'll release your left knee down to the floor. So you get a nice angle on the left thigh. Go ahead and hug your legs towards each other isometrically. So you think about hugging the legs from side to side, front to back, top to bottom. So the legs are nice and strong once more. Take a breath here and walk the blocks back. Inhale and float your arms up and overhead, keeping the shoulders soft, keeping your breath steady. Now release your hands to the blocks and straighten through your right leg, coming up onto your right heel. Good. Taking a full breath in, hug the right heel back into the hip joint. Good. And just breathe here. Now walk the blocks forward. Bring that right knee over the ankle again. And notice where you feel the stretch now. All right, walk the blocks back again. Come up onto the heel. Hug that right heel back into your hip joint. Breathe and notice what you're noticing here. And we'll bring the right foot forward. The blocks come forward. We're in that low lunge. And we'll take the right knee. Actually, no. Keep your right foot on the floor. Lift your left knee. Push into your right foot and bring the left foot up. Push down into both feet. Reach your arms up and overhead. And then exhale, hinging at the hips. Reach your hands for the block. Step your right foot all the way back. Bring your left knee over the ankle. Release your right knee to the floor. Feel that stretch in the front of the right thigh. Breathing in, breathing out. Walk the blocks back. Maybe float the arms up. Coming into a low lunge, Alanasana or crescent pose. And release your hands to the blocks. Straighten through the left leg. Walking the blocks back. Hug that left heel into the hip. And we'll do really engaging in the legs here. We'll find some balance. And we'll do 3 rounds of it. So then you'll bend into the left knee. Adjust so that you get the weight bearing. Take a breath. Maybe reach the arms up. Release the hands to the blocks. Straighten through the left leg. Hug the left heel in. 3rd time here. Coming into your crescent, low crescent. And exhale, release your hands to the floor. Take a breath here. Blocks are framing the left foot. Lift the right knee. Push into the left foot. Bring the right foot forward. Push down into both feet. Inhale, reach and bring your arms up and overhead. Take another breath. Come into your half forward fold. Maybe you want to reach your hands a little bit deeper towards the blocks, but keep your shoulders on the back. Engaging the core to support the low back. Push down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release your hands to the blocks once more. Step your left foot as far back on the mat as you can. And lower the left knee to the mat. Walk the blocks back. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Soften your shoulders. Breathe in as you lift your heart and take your tailbone down towards the floor. Exhale, release your hands to the block. Take another breath. This time, float the arms up and overhead. Interlace your hands and reach your palms up towards your ceiling as you soften the shoulders. Now, if reaching your hands towards each other feels like that's just a little bit more than you want to do, you've got your straps. You can use your straps to bring the hands up and overhead. All right, release that leg. Release the strap. Release your hands. Take your hands behind your hip bones. Feel your shoulders start to snuggle towards each other on the back. And again, if having the strap in your hand feels more comfortable for your shoulders, then listen to what your body's trying to tell you here. Gently start to lift the heart. And then as you exhale, I'd like you to bring your chest forward on the inside of your right leg, extending through the top of the head. Coming into a humble crescent pose. Finding some comfort in your breath. Finding some ease in the middle of your effort. Push down into your feet. Hug those legs in all directions. Inhale and come back up. All right, gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. So, walk the blocks forward, lift the left knee, push into the right foot, bring the left foot forward, push into both feet, rise up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, float your right foot all the way back, bring your left knee over the ankle, release your right knee to the floor. If it feels comfortable, grab your hands. If you want to use your strap, use your strap. Lifting up, hugging the legs together in every direction. All right, now we'll come into that humble crescent again. Wrap your hands behind your hips. Lift your heart. Bring your heart forward on the inside of your left leg. Feel your breath nice and steady. Inhale, come back up, release the strap off to the side. With your inhale, lift your right knee off the floor, push into your left foot, bring the right foot to meet the left. Push into both feet. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Reach for your block. Step your right foot as far back as you can take it. Oops, I want you to see what I'm doing here. Step your right foot as far back as you can take it, and then lower the right knee down to the floor. Good. All right, we've been in this shape a few times here. Walk your blocks back, straighten into the left leg. Come up onto the left heel. We've already done that. All right, now take a breath here and float your right arm up. And maybe flow your left arm up. Finding that sense of balance as you hug the legs together in every direction. All right, now release your hands to the blocks. Walk the blocks forward to frame the left leg. You're up on your fingertips here. Push both hips back, extend long through the spine, and as you exhale, bring your heart forward. Hug that left heel back, extending long from the tailbone through the top of the head. Notice what you feel. Now, if this feels amazing and awesome to you, I want you to stay here. If you say, this feels amazing and awesome, is there anything else I could do? Let's play with this one. Everybody I teach loves this one. All right, take the blocks to the outside of the left leg. Push your left hip back from the left heel. Extend long. Walk the blocks forward. Where do you feel the stretch? For me, I feel it right in the back of the hamstring. I feel it on the outside of my left thigh. But it's important that you notice what makes you feel comfortable in your practice and really in your day to day. Bringing the blocks back. Take your left knee back. Let's just bring the right foot forward, straighten through the right leg. We start off in that hugging the right heel back, floating the right arm up, floating the left arm up, softening the shoulders away from the ears. Breathing in and breathing out. Now, typically when I do this pose and I look out into a classroom full of students, I don't know if you're there, Jerry, but I would say to people, turn the corners of your mouth up. We are just doing yoga, right? This isn't a competition. This isn't anything to make us crazy. It's actually here to help us feel more comfortable. That's our theme tonight, right? Release your hands to the blocks. Walk the blocks forward. Push back into your hip bones. Hug the right heel back. Extend long through the top of the head. Breathe. Not just in, but breathe out. And notice what you're noticing. All right, now we're going to add that stretch that everybody loves by walking the blocks out to the side. And maybe you need to stop here, right? Maybe you need to go back to where we were. Always your option, but you can keep the hips square, hug the core in so you're nice and strong, and then extend the head out over towards the blocks. Notice what you're feeling. So for me, when I come onto this side, I feel the stretch slightly different. It has a different kind of intensity, not a better or worse, I'm just noticing that it's different. All right, walk the blocks back and come into child's pose. Do you remember that one from the beginning? Where the knees came wide, the big toes came together, and you surrender your head down to the floor. Child's pose is a resting pose. We build rest into our yoga practice for a reason. Sometimes we create a little bit of heat, and that's awesome, but there's that balance that we need. So go ahead and breathe into that. Exploring the rhythm of your breath. Maybe your thoughts have gotten a little busy now that you're just hanging in child's pose. Just notice. And then walk your hands back and let's meet in a standing pose once more. You got your blocks. You're going to need the blocks. Bring them out to the side. And again, I'm standing sideways, but you keep facing forward. Step your left foot a little bit further than walking distance, and then walk your feet so that they are behind the blocks. And the blocks are not right next to each other. They actually are about hip distance apart. Then bring your hands to your hip bones and bring your left hip forward. Your left foot should be turned out to about 11 o'clock, 10:30 or 11. All right, the feet root down, your hands are on your hip bones, keep your right knee soft, and then reaching the heart forward, push back into your hips, hug the legs so that they're squeezing in towards each other, again, in every direction, top to bottom, front to back, side to side. Push down into the feet, inhale, and lift up. Take a breath, float your arms up and overhead, soften your shoulders, keep that right knee soft, hinging at the hips, bring your hands forward, reach for your blocks, come up onto your fingertips, extending long through the top of the head. Push down into your feet, inhale, reach the arms up and overhead, and once more, we'll reach the arms forward, pushing back into the hips, reaching for the blocks. Some of you, this might be enough of a stretch. Some of you, keeping that right knee a little micro bent, can fold over the right leg. Breathe and notice the space of your runner's stretch. Push down into both feet. Inhale up. Step your left foot forward. Step your right foot back. We'll do the same thing on this side. So the feet are about hip distance apart. The back foot is going to be turned out on this side. It's going to be more like 130. All right, hands to the hips. So we start off and we just start to find that space. And again, use your core to bring you forward. Use the strength of your legs. Balance the two. Push down into your feet. Inhale and come up. Float the arms up and overhead, softening the shoulders. Hinge at the hips, reach your hands forward. Maybe release them to the block as you extend long through the top of the head. And then pushing down into your feet, reach your arms up and overhead. And we'll do that next variation, right? We'll reach the arms forward and we'll fold over the left leg. As you breathe in, feel your hips balance. Feel your legs balance. Find comfort even though you're in an asymmetrical shape. Looking at it this way, at least you're not doing this for camera, right? You're at home. Enjoy the stretch in the space. Push into your left foot, bring your right foot forward, grab your strap again. In all sincerity, I love teaching yoga. I think that it is such a great practice for people to feel better, to find comfort, and I'm glad that I can share that comfort, hopefully, with you. Speaking of comfort, when it comes to balancing poses, we're going to address a shape that we did when we were lying on our back, but this time we're going to do it on our feet in a standing balance pose. So a lot of times it helps to stand right next to a wall. I'm not telling you that you need to lean against the wall, but it's nice maybe to have your hand at the wall, or sometimes even to put your bottom right near a wall and then take a half step away. So if you were to lose your balance in a standing pose, you just pop yourself against the wall, use your core to come back so that your shoulders come over your hips into that nice balanced shape. So we're back to where we were when we started standing, where the feet are about hip distance apart, our shoulders are over our hips, our head's at the top of the spine. And now we're going to take our strap and take the strap and wrap the strap right around the ball mount of that right foot. Okay? Don't be afraid to use the wall. Don't be afraid to use the props. All right, so we've got the strap around the ball mount of the right foot. We've got the shoulders over the hips. I'd like you to begin to lift your right leg, putting the weight into the left foot. Lift your right leg until you come to a point where you feel like your shoulders aren't over your hips. So I'm not asking you to lift your right leg way up high, because when you do that, A, you're not getting any sort of balance practice. You're just trying to hang on for dear life. We just want to float the right foot up, whatever amount feels comfortable for you, okay? So you've got the right leg and it's floating up, and maybe you're tapping against the wall, or you feel whatever you're feeling. Go ahead and walk your hands down the strap and hug that right heel into the hip. We've already done this lying down. You know that sensation. Breathe into that space. Now, plug your shoulders onto your back. If you had an extra strap, lengthen through the back of the neck like we've done. Finding balance here, take both straps into the right hand. Take your left hand to your left hip and open the right leg out to the side. Hug your toes back. Float your left arm wide. Breathe. Not just in, breathe out. Let your face soften. Michelle, you and your family, I know you're doing this. You're showing them up with your balance. Come back to center and release. That felt a little bit like romper room when I was a kid. Remember that? Miss Sally would call all the kids out. Anyhow, I am glad for any of you who are choosing to practice with me this evening, letting me work through my discomfort with Facebook Live. Heck, you know I don't even post that much on Facebook. Anyhow, lift the left leg. Take both straps into the left hand. Anchor into your right hip. Take the left leg out to the side. Float the right arm out to the side and breathe. Inhale and come back to center. Release the left foot to the floor, or drop the foot, or be happy that the foot could come down. Now, we're going to wrap the strap again around the right foot. Push into the left foot, float the right foot up. Oh, remember we did this lying down. Maybe you know what's coming next. Plug the shoulders onto the back. Take the left hand to the left hip. Whoa! Balance is hilarious, right? Find a drishti, find a focal point. That will help. And all that is just find something that's stationary. So don't look to me to help you find the balance. Look to a place that's actually balanced. All right, left hand to the left hip. Take the right leg out to the side. Float the left arm out. Now we'll add the twist. Take the strap into the left hand. Cross the right leg in front of the left leg. Float the right arm out to the side. Breathe. Can you make it the 3 rounds of breath? It's not a contest, it's just the question. Inhale and release the right foot. Okay, now let's try the other side. So I do joke all the time that balance is hilarious, because the truth of the matter is one side can be totally different than the other. Hug the left heel in, both straps in the left hand, right hand to the right hip, open the left leg out, open the right arm out. One day you could be bragging, I'm really good at the balancing poses, and the next day you come to your mat and it's not so friendly. All right, we're crossing the midline. Take the left hand to the left hip, take the left arm out to the side. Woo. Okay. Full breath in, full breath out. Thanks so much for coming this evening. Release the left foot. Oh, good. Full breath in, full breath out. How about a really mindful? Look down at your feet. Put a softness in your knees. Stack your shoulders over your hips. Engage your core. Put your hands at heart center. Feels good, close your eyes. And let your breath rise and fall. Begin to slowly open your eyes, and we're coming back down onto our backs now. So when you come down onto your backs, if you were wearing a pair of socks when you started practicing, you may want to put those back on. If you were wearing a sweater or sweatshirt, you may want to put those back on. Once you're kind of cozied up, we'll come down onto our backs. So lay down on your back again. You've got your blanket nearby, but it's not doing anything at this point. Coming down onto your back, bring your knees towards your armpits. This is really a lot like child's pose. This is also a good option for people who don't love child's pose. Just bringing yourself to your back, hugging your knees towards your armpits, opening up the space of the hips. Release your feet to the floor. Walk your feet to the wide edges of the mat, so the feet are wide, and then rest your hands again on your belly. Remember how we did that at the beginning with the thumbs and the pointer finger. And as you exhale, drop your knees to the left. And inhale, bring the knees back up to center. Drop your knees to the right. Inhale, come back to center. Knees fall to the left. Inhale back to center. Drop them to the right. Notice the space along the left side of your body when you do that. Inhale, come back to center. Take another breath. Drop your knees to the left. I think we're even. Sometimes I lose count. I hope we're even. Float your arms out into a gentle T. And then if it feels comfortable, place your left ankle on top of your right knee. Take your gaze and look at your right hand. Let the weight of the left foot guide the right side of your body open. And breathe in and breathe out. Inhale, come back to center. Undo your feet. We'll do the same thing in the opposite direction. Let your knees drop to the right. Place your right ankle on your left knee. Anchor into your left shoulder. And breathe. Full breath in and a full breath out. Explore that space on the left side of the body. We did a lot of nice leg strengthening today. Notice the strength of your legs. Now we'll release the right foot. It's actually time for Shavasana. So now's the time you may want to grab your blanket and put your blanket over the top of you. We'll allow the body a nice Shavasana. So you'll lay down flat on your mat. And you'll let your feet go even a little bit wider than hip distance apart. Let your feet fall out to the side. Take your hands and rest them next to your hip bones. And turn your palms to face upward. If you feel like you need to put a little something underneath the back of your head, you can. Ideally, we like to keep the head as flat so that the neck stays nice and long. And then I'd like you just to take a full breath in and exhale it out. And notice how you're held. Notice how you're finding comfort in a place that might not be your first choice to lay. I should mention, if you are really uncomfortable with your legs straight, you can always grab a pillow or something to put underneath your knees, because we're going to stay here long enough where if it bothers you a little bit now, it will bother you more as we do this. And let your face begin to really soften. Your eyes are closed. Wiggle your tongue around in your mouth, releasing the space between the upper and lower jaw. And as you inhale in, feel the goodness of the breath. And as you exhale out, feel the goodness of letting go. Inhale in and count to 1. Exhale out, count 2. Inhale 3. Exhale 4. Inhale 5. Exhale 6. Inhale 7. Exhale 8. Inhale 9. Exhale 10. I'd like you to count 2 more times in that same way. And let yourself melt to your mat. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale it out. Begin to invite gentle movements into your fingers and your toes as you feel awareness returning back to your physical body. And then taking your time, bend your knees, bring them towards your chest, and roll and rest on your right side. The back of the body is no longer constricted by the floor, so let the breath move all the way down the length of the spine. And of course, if you've taken the breath in that deeply, you need to let it go. That same level of letting go. 3 full rounds of breath, resting here on your side, curled up in a little ball. And then make your way back up into a seated pose. You can keep your eyes closed or gently looking down. Again, find the rhythm of your breath. And we'll bring our hands to heart center. And we'll bow our heads to our hearts, expressing love and gratitude. Namaste. On the inhale, lift your head, open your eyes, relax your hands. Thank you so much for being with me on my first Facebook Live class. I know there was some mix-up at the beginning. I hope you were able to stay connected with us. I hope you do stay connected with us. We have a Namaste YouTube page, and there are lots of teachers offering. And of course, none of us are professional yoga teachers, online yoga teachers. But what we are is we are your own town studio. We have been around for a really long time. We love and appreciate our students. And if you are practicing with me from afar, as I know some of you are, I just want to thank you so much for showing up tonight. I miss all of you, and I look forward to a time when we are not so far away. Thank you very much. Patrick is going to turn this off now. Have a great dinner. Maybe go have a glass of wine. I might.